Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session. On behalf of everyone at RevIO, I'd like to thank you for joining us today. I'm Delaney Dubkowski, RevIO's Marketing Execution Manager. Before we begin the presentation, I would like to go over a few housekeeping items. First, audio will automatically come in through your speakers. Second, a recorded version of this webinar will be emailed to you within 2 days. Third, we will be having a Q&A session at the end of the event, so please submit your questions via the Zoom control panel at any point during the live presentation. For those of you just joining us, welcome. Today, William Brister, VP of Customer Success at SkySwitch, will be discussing how to become a successful white label UCaaS reseller. William Brister, a USAF veteran, brings 35 years of experience in telecom to the organization. Within 2 years of joining the Air Force, William was teaching telecommunications. After leaving the Air Force, he held various telecommunications sales and sales engineering positions with leading companies and leaned on that training and experience. He now leads the reseller onboarding and billing services department as VP of Customer Success at SkySwitch. William's team primary focus is nurturing new SkySwitch resellers to success. Since joining SkySwitch in 2015, he has played a crucial role in seeing the company grow monthly revenue by more than 2,800%. William believes in personal one-on-one time to train and engage the entrepreneurial-minded resellers through the onboarding process and understands the department's scale to incorporate online training into the mix. William resides in Allen, Texas, a suburb of Dallas, with his wife of 36 years, his 2 married children, and 2 grandchildren. Without further ado, I'll turn it over to William.
Hello, and thank you for attending today. The first thing I want to stress is what this presentation is not going to be. It's not going to be a sales presentation for SkySwitch. We do have a sales team, and at the end, I'll point out our email address to our sales team, and we can certainly get you a full demonstration of our platform and get all your questions answered from our sales team. Of course, today we're going to focus on becoming a successful white label UCaaS provider. And just a little background, one thing that's not mentioned in my bio there is that in 2000, I had my own telecom agency for about 7 years. So I had as many as 23 employees. And so a lot of what I'm going to cover today, I have personal experience, in running a business. It wasn't a white label business at the time. We sold AT&T, we sold CBeyond, and several others. We sold even POTS and internet access as well as T1s. So that's what was, the communication of the day services back then. And but I want you to know I have personal experience in running a business that's a lot like what our resellers do today, but also just my experience with SkySwitch and what I've seen happen as far as our resellers and the growth and success for our resellers. So it'll be just that. It'll be a presentation about becoming a successful white label UCaaS provider. Now we'll have questions at the end. You can ask me questions about SkySwitch at the end if you want, but again, if you want a full demonstration, I'll point to our sales team and we'll go down that path. So why UCaaS? Well, there's many products you could sell today. A couple of the reasons why UCaaS is a good product to sell today is, number one, every business needs UCaaS. We still have voice as the primary service, the primary product that businesses need. It's amazing that we have Slack, we have these collaboration tools, Teams, and still we find that in the statistics that businesses still primarily rely on voice in a major way. And that's because of just the way humans communicate, and especially when it comes to new customers and communicating that way. UCaaS is a large and growing market. It's about a $16 billion market in the US today, and it's going to grow to over 25 billion by year 2024. So, and it's growing, exponentially every year. So it's a growing market, and it's a growing product. Every business needs it. And it's a real good way of building recurring revenue. So that's another reason that UCaaS is a great product to sell. It's a great business to get into. So unified communications, it's growing, it's a good product. And that's the reason I would say, as far as why sell UCaaS, why get in the business. Another point there is it's a good add-on product. Some of you, maybe you're an MSP, or you're providing desktop services or other services. And so UCaaS is a good add-on product. And we have a lot of resellers that come to us that are selling other things, or they're moving from the older platform of, hardware in the closet, communications, PBX, et cetera. And UCaaS is a good evolving product to sell. So there's many reasons why it's good. But the most important, I would say, is that building a recurring revenue is what we all would like to see in our businesses. So what I'm going to cover today are the different steps to becoming a successful white label provider. And the first step, if you're going to sell UCaaS, you're going to need a white label provider. Now, you could try to spin up a switch of your own, but I tell you what, we have a sales team of about 4 to 5 salespeople, and then the rest of our staff is built around engineering, and it's just a big heavy lift to try to start a white label provider, and it's expensive. It can be expensive. So we've been in the business over 6 years here, and so I think that getting a good white label partner, a white label provider, is really the way to go. That way you can get your feet wet, get in the business, start providing services to your customers, and then later, if you were to go that route. And again, it takes a lot more than most would think. SkySwitch, we've got a lot on our staff. We're about 80 people strong now, and it takes a lot, to be a white label provider. Now, when you're looking for a white label provider, the number one thing that you're going to need is in your white label provider is reliability. Now, I mean, we're talking voice, right? And the one thing that has to take place is if you're going to provide UCaaS voice services, it has to be reliable. You cannot, start this business and start with a provider that would not have reliable, high quality voice services. And I believe that's one reason why SkySwitch has been successful, is because we've really focused on being a reliable provider and providing high quality service. So our uptime is great, and that's what you want in a white label provider. The next item that you need is that they care. You're going to be tightly connected to your business partner when you're providing voice services. And, when your customer calls and maybe there's call quality issues or whatever, they need to know you care, and you need to know that your UCaaS white label provider cares about your business, cares about you as a business, as a person, and will be there for you. So the reliability and care are very important. Also, you need a UCaaS white label provider that is flexible. What I mean by that is you don't want to just start with a provider that has a certain set of products and you just add margin to the products and sell their products. You want a provider that will provide you the flexibility to build your own product catalog and provide the services that you want to provide in the way you want to provide them. The reason this is important is because, it's a large country. It's different selling voice services, in New York versus Lincoln, Nebraska, or here in Dallas, Texas, or in LA. It's just different. The businesses are different, and you're competing against different competitors in those areas. So you need the flexibility to be able to market your services and provide your services the way you need to compete effectively and to win the business where you're at. So you need a provider that will allow you to do that, to be flexible. You need a provider that's going to provide the ability to have good margin. You could just become an agent of telecom services, but what you're looking for when you step up from being an agent to being a white label provider is that you want to have a larger margin. You want to move up from that 15 to 20%, and you want to get to the 60 to 80% margin capability, because that's what you're looking to build, is a business that has recurring revenue, recurring margin, and you want it to be a good, healthy percentage. Okay, and we provide that, and that's the reason our resellers are successful, and that's the reason they come to us, because we provide them that capability of selling the services at a very healthy margin. The next thing you need is a provider that will give you the tools you need to be a successful white label provider. Now, the tools will be, for example, we have a QoS monitor in our service. You can monitor the quality of service on your customers' calls. You can troubleshoot calls. We at SkySwitch try to provide our resellers with the tools that allow them to troubleshoot their own calls, to troubleshoot problems, and to quickly respond to any issues that your customers may have. Okay, and the tools also would include, like I'm going to just discuss, having the right billing partner. That's a tool that you're going to need. You're going to need maybe other third-party tools, maybe a quote tool. Rev has a quote tool built in, and you can look at that. So we provide you all the tools that you need to be successful as a white label provider, and that's what you're going to want in a good white label provider. The last is features. Of course, voice and UCaaS are going to be your main product, okay, or service, but you're going to want the different features added on. You're going to want to be able to obtain telephone numbers for your customers, toll-free numbers, and you're going to want to provide maybe a web conferencing tool or collaboration feature service, a mobile app or a desktop app. So you're going to need those add-on features because you're going to find as you're selling UCaaS that your customers are going to ask for those types of features, additional features. And SMS, business SMS is another one. And so having a provider that will provide you those features is important. So the first step is selecting the right UCaaS provider, and having that right business partner that has the reliability, that cares about you as a partner. We at SkySwitch, we see our resellers as our sales team, because we're wholesale and we're not promoting the SkySwitch brand name out to end customers, and we never will. We sell through resellers, and we see them as our sales team, and that's the way we treat them, with respect and care, just like we would an internal sales organization. So so that's what you're looking for in selecting a good business partner, white label provider. On step 2, the next thing that you will need is selecting the right billing platform. Now, we've been in partnership with Rev here for almost the full time that we've been offering UCaaS. And so it's been close to 5 years here. I've been involved in that relationship from the very beginning when we started right off the bat. I helped the first reseller add the first customers, to the Rev Billing platform. And so I've seen this grow, and I've seen what our resellers need on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis. And they come to us as entrepreneurs, they come to us as existing businesses. And some of them come to us, have never billed for telecom before. So, having the right billing platform is important, because ultimately getting paid, right, and making money as a business is very important. So being able to provide a professional telecom bill to your customers on a timely, in a timely fashion, correctly, with the correct telecom taxes on it, et cetera, are very important to you. So we have found Rev to be an excellent partner, an excellent billing platform. And so you need a platform that would be easy to configure, easy to add customers, easy to set them up for billing. You want to make sure that your billing platform as a UCaaS provider, you're going to be responsible as a reseller for collecting and remitting telecom taxes. Now, this turns some people away from our business, and I understand that. But collecting sales taxes as a business is pretty straightforward. Telecom taxes, it's a little more complicated because there's more fingers in the pie, right? You got your federal, your state, your municipality, all involved in wanting to collect taxes. You have 911 surcharges, et cetera. So you want to make sure that your billing platform is going to allow you to collect the right taxes, that you'll be able to pull the right reports, and you'll be able to remit and comply and report those taxes. Now, we help you here at SkySwitch through that process, and we have partners. CSI is one of them, GSA. We can point you to the right tax experts that can help with that process. So we have 500 plus resellers. All of them had to go through the process of learning how to collect and remit taxes. So it's nothing new for us. And yeah, it is a process. You have to learn it. But none of them have died, from the process. So, taxes is something that we all have to pay attention to. And with telecom taxes as a VoIP reseller, it's just a little more intense because there's a little more to it, a little more different taxes. But we will help there. And Rev provides all the right reports and proper connection to the tax database, et cetera. And the proper taxes show up on the bill, and you can then remit and report those taxes. Usage rating. It's important to have the right billing platform, because as a VoIP reseller, your customers, maybe they want to have a toll-free number. Maybe they want or need international calling, and or maybe fax. You want to rate per minute on fax services, or inbound to a conference bridge. You need the ability to do usage rating on your bills. And for one thing, it really makes you look like a bigger player when you can provide usage rating on a bill and provide a professional telecom bill to a customer, and you can do those things. And with Rev, you can do any of the type of usage rating that you need. And of course, we train our resellers on this and show them how to set that up and provide that to their customers. The last piece would be an auto billing. The ability to set your customers up, get them set up for billing, but then the heavy lifting of on the bill cycle date on the first, or daily, depending on how you want to bill, and you can do it either way. Your bills are generated, they're emailed out, and then the payments are taken depending on whatever due date you have set for your customers. So auto billing is a really nice feature. Our resellers really love that feature that Rev.io provides. They get these customers set up and they get them set up in billing. And on the bill cycle date, it creates the bills, emails them out, and collects the payment. So that way you can focus in on new customers, setting new customers up, and then the different taxes and reports, et cetera, that you have to deal with. So selecting the right billing partner, again, is important to becoming a successful UCaaS reseller, white label reseller. And we have found Rev to be an excellent partner. Like I said, we have many resellers that are using them and billing thousands and thousands of customers on a monthly basis. So step 3 would be building a team, building the right team. So teamwork makes the dream work. You got to have a team. I will say I do have a few resellers that are one-man shops, and they're very unusual. I have, for example, a gentleman out of South Louisiana. He's a one-man shop. He's a very unusual person because he does his own sales. He does his own installs for his customers, and of course, he's doing the billing. And he does really well. But he's an exception to the rule. Most of our resellers that come to us, they either have a team or they're building a team. And to become a successful white label UCaaS reseller, you're going to need to build a team, unless you'll do what the one gentleman does. But most likely you'll build a team. And when you build a team, number one, you're going to need sales. You're going to need someone selling. Now, you may do it yourself, and we'll talk about more about sales later, what the best way to achieve sales as a UCaaS reseller, what I have found. And having that right person that knows how to close business, knows how to build relationships, or it may be multiple people, of course, but getting the right team together in sales is very important because in business nothing happens without sales. You got to have sales. Jason Jones is our EVP of sales in SkySwitch, and he and I joined SkySwitch together at the same time. And I've worked with Jason a couple of companies back, and he's just very good at sales. And of course, our sales is a little bit different because we're selling to resellers, and our resellers are selling to end customers. But in the end, again, you're going to have a salesperson or a sales team, and it's going to be important for you to build that into your team. The second item is having a VoIP or SIP technician, which is going to be important because UCaaS is it's technical. You're going to need someone that understands VoIP, understands SIP, can go out on the customer site and deliver new phones, or register existing phones. These phones are going to need to be registered to the system. That person's probably going to need to know something about local area networking, about SIP, about TCP/IP, maybe a little bit about firewalling. So having a VoIP or a SIP technician or multiple technicians is going to be important to building a successful white label UCaaS provider. Reseller business. And then support. Obtaining a customer is one thing, but keeping them is another, right? And you're going to need to build a team. You're going to have provide support, customer service for your customers. When they call in, you're going to need to have someone answer the phone. The last thing you want is to set up a customer and get them running, and they call you for a question and they can't get anybody, right? So having support, having a customer service person or more than one is going to be important to you. The last one is billing. Now you can do it yourself, or You can have someone, do the billing, but you're going to need someone focused on billing. I mean, we're in this to make money, right? And providing your customer a timely, accurate bill and getting paid for what you do is important. So you're going to need someone to be focused on the billing, make sure it's done right, and so you get paid on time. So building a team is going to be important to becoming a successful UCaaS reseller. And let's go on to step 4. So step 4 is building your processes. Just like in any business, you either plan to fail or you, if you, let me say it this way, if you're failing to plan, it's planning to fail. And without successful processes, you're basically doing that. You're planning to fail. I get in and I deal with resellers, and I help them with their internal processes. And I tell them, you got to have a plan, you got to have processes, you got to know who's on first, what the process is from A to Z. From the moment you get a lead to the time that your customer, to retaining your customer. So all through the sales process, the order process, the installation process, customer service and retention. So you need a process, you need a plan in place for how you're going to handle things. And this, of course, will involve systems. Rev is going to provide some of that capability. I have resellers that use ConnectWise or Zendesk, for their CRM or their back office system, Autotask. We see resellers using different platforms to accomplish what they need, to provide the planning and the processes internally to make sure that the customer is taken care of. And so building your process, having as far as marketing, lead generation, what happens when a customer accepts the lead, who takes it over, as far as sales, the sales process. Once you get that lead and you need to provide a quote or proposal to your customer, how does that happen? When is the customer going to have the capability of accepting that quote online? And then, what happens once the quote is accepted? How's it turned into an order? One thing in becoming a UCaaS provider that you will have to do is you'll have to deal with number porting. It's probably, besides billing or the tax part of it, it's probably one of the most, I don't want to say difficult aspects of being a UCaaS. It's just, it becomes important because it's important because numbers are important to your customers. In a lot of cases, they've had those telephone numbers for a long time, and they're going to port those numbers from one provider over to you, over to SkySwitch, but that LOA is going to have your name on it as a reseller. And the LOA is a letter of authorization. It's basically your customer stating that that number can be ported, to you. And so, like I said, dealing with customers' telephone numbers, that's very important to them. They've had that number a long time. That number in a lot of cases is their lifeblood to their business, because that's how their customers are reaching them. So having a good order process is important here so that process of porting those numbers becomes flawless. And you want that to be flawless, and you want the customer to not having issues there. We have a reporting department at SkySwitch. We take it very seriously. We report a lot of numbers every month, and it goes well. And we teach you as a reseller how to do that well. But internally to your own company, having that process is important. Installation, you're going to have your VoIP SIP tech go out on site and install phones or re-register existing phones to our switch. So having, that down and how that plays out and who's on first and who's on second and how that happens. As far as the installation, you're probably going to need to, of course, to train the customer on how to use the new phones, the Yay Links or the Polycoms. And so that will be an important part of it. How do you train your customers once you register the phones to the system? And then once you leave site, how does your customer contact you? How quickly do you respond to customer service calls? All that's going to be important to retention. And again, remember, we're talking about building recurring revenue, and customer retention is the number one aspect of building recurring revenue. I've seen resellers start with us 5 years ago, and I can see in the Rev billing platform, they had customers that started 5 years ago, and they've retained those customers for that amount of time. That's a good chunk of recurring revenue, keeping a customer over 5 years or 4 years or 3 years. And you can do that. And we see resellers doing that all the time. But they did it because they had a process. They had, they have their customer service down. They know when their customer calls, who's going to answer the phone and how quickly they're going to answer the phone and how they're going to address the issues and the problems or issues that the customer has. So that building your processes is important from A to Z, from the time you get a lead to the time that you install the customer, to the time you port his numbers, to the time you start billing them on a monthly basis. So this is going to be important to your business to build the right processes. Step 5 is going to be selling by, I call it selling by word of mouth. So what I found with our resellers is there's 2 reasons why our resellers are successful as UCaaS white label resellers and why SkySwitch is successful. There's 2 main reasons. And number 1, it's because our resellers build relationships with their customers, and we build relationships with our resellers. Okay, so that's I've mentioned a lot of things here about, building a team, building processes, but this kind of comes down to the key ingredient. You have to pick the right UCaaS provider. You have to pick the right billing platform. You have to build processes. You have to build the right team. But when it comes down to it, this is what's going to be the key to whether you're going to be successful or not. Now, what I mean by this is our resellers compete with RingCentral, 8x8, Verizon. They compete with some large players in the market. And the reason they succeed and win, and the reason they can beat out even the largest of these providers, is because of building relationships with their customers. RingCentral 8x8, they sell via a toll-free number. They sell via the phone, over the phone. And when you can show up on site and when you can talk to your customer and consult with them and educate them on UCaaS and how UCaaS can impact their business and help them succeed in their business, then that's really what makes for a successful white label reseller, UCaaS reseller. And that's why SkySwitch has been successful, because we care about our resellers and we build those relationships with them. We know that that's what they're doing on the front line. And we know that when they call us about service, it's because one of their customers called them about service, right? And so that's what has differentiated us in the market with our resellers. Because we care about them, we care about their business, and we know they care about their customers' business. So the relationship wins. Local service presence is critical. And that's really, if you really want to get in this business and you really want to know how to be successful, number 1, do those things I mentioned. Build good processes, build a good team, But get out there and just build relationships with your customers. Um, when here's a quote: "When we are doing good business, we know it because it feels good in our soul. Plan with your mind, but build with your heart." Um, Success can be defined as helping enough other people get what they want, and you'll get what you want. That was Zig Ziglar. He was a um, speaker a long time ago. If you help your customers, if you care about their business and you help them get what they want, and UCaaS, helps them get what they want. They need to be able to communicate with their customers. They need to be able to communicate effectively, and that's what we provide, as a service, and that's what you'll be providing as a service to them. So, how do we beat 8x8 Ring Central? We provide local service, local presence. Our resellers will show up on site, talk to you, train you, educate you on UCaaS and how to impact your business. So that's what I mean by selling by word of mouth. And a lot of our resellers come to us and they already have a base of customers. And a lot of their customers, they're selling them other things. They're an MSP or whatever. But their customers are asking them, "Hey, can you also do our voice services? Can you also provide UCaaS?" And they say, "Yeah." Now they say, "Yeah." But when they run out of that base of customers, how do they expand their business? And if you provide good service to a customer, that customer will talk about you to others. And I really find that a lot of our resellers, that's how they're selling. It's by word of mouth. It's by relationship. Uh, there are other forms of marketing. You can market online. You can go old school and you can market with mailers and stuff like that. And you can generate leads that way. But what I've found over the 5 years I've been here with SkySwitch is that our resellers build their business through relationships. And that's what we have sought to do at SkySwitch, is build through relationship. And I see Rev doing that too. I've been involved with Rev, like I said, for that all that time, and I've been to their conferences, and we're very similar companies because of the way we operate, and we care about people and grow our business through relationships. Okay, so that's the 5 steps. I hope it was what maybe you were expecting something quite different. I don't know. Like I said, we have a sales team. I'm not a salesperson. I do training and I help our resellers grow. I've built out our SkySwitch University, and our motto there is learn, build, succeed. And that's what my position's more about, is helping resellers. Once they get in the door, we help them learn, we help them build their business, and we help them succeed. But again, if you need or want to speak to our sales team, there's the information. Just send an email to sales@skyswitch.com. One of our sales team members will reach out to you and give you a full demonstration of our platform. So I want to open it up to questions, Delaney. So if you want to jump in.
That was great, William. Thank you so much for your time. Before we begin the Q&A portion of the presentation, I'd like to thank our audience for joining us today and review a few housekeeping items. The first reminder is that we're always interested in topics that you'd like to learn more about, so please submit your topic ideas in the Q&A box. In addition, the full webinar recording will be emailed to you within 2 days. Lastly, if you've submitted any questions during the presentation that don't get addressed in a live Q&A, we will be following up with you individually via email. Now I'd like to ask a few questions from our audience. Why should I sell UCaaS?
Well, like I stated at the beginning, it's a big market. It's growing. Like I said, I believe in the U.S. it's around 16 billion. It's supposed to grow to like 25 billion by 2024. it is, voice is still very much important to businesses. Even with the advent of texting, with the advent of SMS, with the advent of Slack and Teams, it's amazing how, and I've seen statistics here. We had someone come to our Vectors conference at SkySwitch, the last one we held in October, year before COVID here in 2020. But and the desktop phone, the statistics that show that businesses are still buying desktop phones, are amazing. It's still growing, right? It's a growing business. It's a business to where I've had some resellers come and were like in IT hardware or MSP business, and once they start selling voice and they start selling UCaaS, I've seen some of them give up their other business because it's amazingly less headaches. And once you get a customer set up and registered and up and running, in a lot of cases, it'll just run. And like I said, I've seen resellers have customers 4 or 5 years, on the billing platform, just a tremendous amount of recurring revenue. So it's not like, IT hardware or MSP type business where, to me, it seems like those businesses are much more headache oriented, right? Because the customer's calling you when they've got problems, or I don't know. It's look, I don't want to present this that there's no difficulties or it's not, but in comparison to some of the other products you can sell, I think it's a very good product. And once it's set up, it'll just run, and your customers will make their calls. In a lot of cases, we sell these phones, these J-Links and Polycoms, and they have a lot of features on them. But your customers, in a lot of cases, they don't use those. You know what they use the phone for? To pick it up and make a call and to receive a call. And that will just run forever. So it's a good business. It's good margin. It's growing, and we see success, resellers being very successful, making a lot of money. So that's why I would say do it.
Does our company need to have telecom experience in order to be successful selling UCaaS?
It certainly would help, but no. I've had resellers come to me to SkySwitch and through our training program that have never sold a single phone, never sold a single UCaaS seat, didn't know a thing about telecom taxes, and we've taken them through the process, and they've grown, and they've been able to become successul. No, look, if you've never done it, at first it may sound like Greek to you, but like I said, we know the process of training you and getting you up on the platform, and having you learn the things that you need to learn to be successful, and then you just start getting your feet wet, and it's not rocket science. It's once you learn it, you can do it, and we've seen a lot of resellers become successful.
Why should I become a white label UCaaS reseller versus becoming a UCaaS agent?
So the difference there is going to be the margin is going to be different. You, as an agent, you're going to make probably 15 to 20% off the sales, but you're not going to own the customer. Whoever you're being an agent for, they really own the customer, right? And so you can't really sell an agency, or let's say you build it up and you have 100 customers, but you're the agent, right? Who really owns that customer? It's whoever's billing that customer, right? The great thing about a white label UCaaS, becoming a white label UCaaS reseller, is it's your brand, and you are building a brand, and you're going to own the customers because you're billing the customer, and the margin is going to be great. You're going to be in the 40 to 80% range. And I've seen resellers make sick margin. I mean, it's just crazy. It's good stuff. So, but you own the customers, and therefore, when you build this business, you can sell it. We've had a few resellers that have sold their businesses to others, to other UCaaS resellers, or and so it gives you a future, right, and something to sell when it's your brand and you own the business and you own the customers.
Can you bring your own carrier for inbound and outbound voice?
Yes, we at SkySwitch, like I said, you need a provider that provides you flexibility, right? And one of the flexible things we do is we allow our resellers, if they already have relationships with carriers, yes, you can bring those, and we'll set it up to where you can use your carriers, for inbound and outbound origination and termination services. That's our main business is selling UCaaS seats. It's not selling, carrier services. Now we have carrier services because a lot of our resellers come to us and they're new to it, or they don't have a relationship with any carriers, right? And we provide a good, cost-effective rate on our carriers, and we provide the ability to obtain telephone numbers, toll-free numbers, regular DIDs for your customers. So you can do it either way. Yeah, we don't care. You can do it either way.
Are there CRM platforms that are more widely used than others in the UCaaS universe?
Of course, Rev has some CRM capability in their billing platform, but we do find resellers that come to us, and Zendesk is probably the more common. ConnectWise, which is a little bit more than CRM. We have resellers that use ConnectWise. We have resellers that use Autotask. Just about, probably 95% or higher use QuickBooks as far as the billing platform. And that's either QuickBooks Online or desktop. That kind of falls into the category of building your process and having some back office systems to help. And look, there's no system that's going to do everything. Typically, you're going to work with several systems to provide all the types of functionality that you need in your business to from all the way from lead generation all the way through to customer service and retention, billing. So that's what we see.
And are there enough MSPs not selling UCaaS that can be recruited with to profit share?
I don't know if I understand that question. Say it again, Helen.
Are there enough MSPs not selling UCaaS that can be recruited with to profit share? And we can answer this one offline if we'd prefer to do that.
Yeah, let me answer that one offline. I'm going to give that some thought.
Okay. Would you recommend creating another VoIP company or keep all in one with the MSP?
Well, I have resellers that formulate a separate brand, for their VoIP services versus their MSP. I've had others that have incorporated the VoIP services as a product within their MSP, right? And some put all the services on their MSP bill, like a ConnectWise bill or a Rev.io bill. It just depends. And again, I think that comes back to the flexibility. It's what's going to be best for your business and how you need to market and how you need to market to be competitive and to win business, right? And if you you feel like you want to put it on all under one brand as the MSP, that's fine. Or if you want to have separate brands, that way, one day if you wanted to sell your MSP business, you could do that versus your UCaaS business. So I've seen it both ways.
As a one-man show, what have you seen in way of recruiting salespeople for commissions only? Would you promote a recurring percentage to them or a one-time payment like the first month or MRC?
I've seen both. You know, I think most salespeople would like to build a recurring income themselves. So that's probably the most successful um, uh, resellers that I've seen, that they give their salespeople the capability of, of building some recurring revenue. Of course, you want to be careful of the way you build it, right? Because we're talking human nature here, and you don't want, you do want them to build. I mean, if you offer it that way, you want them to build recurring income, but you don't want, at certain point, you don't want them to just rely on, the recurring income without obtaining new business. So it's really a combination of letting them build, some income, but also keeping them with the incentive of obtaining new business, right? So it's finding that right combination, and really that might come down to it may be different for different salespeople, right? Because people are motivated differently, right? And um, sometimes you have to configure it in such a way that you're motivating that particular person the way they need to be motivated, right? So
Does SkySwitch offer engineering integration professional services to assist in API of third-party apps like CRM, SMS, Teams, etc.?
we do not provide external engineering development. We're doing it in-house, right? And we're building the apps and the integration with MS Teams. We're about to roll out, in fact, a Teams connector. I've been involved with our team support and our product development team on getting those things together. And we've had resellers that are already beta testing our Teams connector. So we do have a Teams connector that connects our switch to Teams and provides that capability. So, and like I said, we're rolling that out. So the way I present that is, yes, we have an API, and we've had resellers, do some development and with their own engineering resources, or they found the resources and they develop out some capability that they wanted to have. Maybe it's a particular vertical market that they're wanting some capability for. But we're doing the development as well in-house, trying to provide the features and the capabilities that our resellers need. So we feel like we're doing a good job of staying up to date, with the features and the things that our resellers need to compete in the market. So but we're always willing to talk. Okay, so we could talk about it.
And what are some of the unique features of SkySwitch that make it different than other UCaaS providers?
So really, there I would refer you to sales. Now, I don't want to just pass the buck, but here's the thing: our sales team does an excellent job of providing demonstrations of our platform and the features that we have. Sometimes they do too good a job because our department does the training, and well, sometimes they're overloading us. But that's what I would do. Reach out to our sales department. They'll schedule a call with you, and they'll show you all our features in a live demonstration, setting. And I think you'll be impressed. So
All right. Well, that looks like those are all the questions we have today. William, thanks again for your time and enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you.